All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Oli Paints, and today we're on a Sema crunch. I leave tomorrow at about 2:40, and I've got a lot of stuff to do, but I figured I would bring you guys along for this craziness, and we'll just get into it. All right, so what we've got in the booth, I'm gonna be real quick with all of this. This is a Nissan Pathfinder repair to the quarter, 2 used doors, used fender. I really hate used parts, but here we are. So this is QAB White Pearl. I've got obviously my used door here that I'm not jamming, I'm just doing the shell. This obviously is a used door, I gotta do the door jam on that. Used fender, and then I have 2 bumpers as well. So I'm gonna probably do those off camera because I've got like 3 other bumpers that I need to knock out, but let me get this all cleaned up. I'll throw you guys on the helmet and we'll just run through spraying some 3-stage white with Ultra 9K. Alrighty, so we are sealer mixed up. I'm gonna go ahead and get all this blown and tacked. As usual, anti-static gun. I'm not gonna be here to be able to polish this stuff if need be, so you know, try to make it as clean as it possibly can be. Words cannot begin to describe how much I do not like used parts. They are such a waste of time. I don't know why my boss just bends over backwards for these insurance companies, but I'll tell you right now, if I owned this shop, I wouldn't be doing that crap. I'm just paid to paint it, so this is what I gotta do. And I realize this car has a lot of miles on it, but it's still, I don't think it's right. Somebody hits you, and their insurance company says, oh, we just want to put used stuff on. I'd kindly tell them to piss off, you know? Bit ridiculous, but here we are. I'll make it look as nice as I possibly can. Right there. Like I said, I'm just doing the outside shell of this. It's already the correct color, so. Put a sealer on there. It's gonna be a long day. I just heard my AirPods start to die. Ay, ay, ay. Get all this stuff knocked out, and then I gotta catch a flight tomorrow, and I gotta do all the Sema stuff. So I hope you guys are ready for some Sema content, because that is coming. Kind of plan to give you guys what it's like to experience Sema, because it is a lot, man. It is a lot, but it is a lot of fun. My favorite part, I think, is like seeing all the new tools is cool, but I'll be real honest, seeing all the people is the best part, and meeting new people that I get to interact with on, you know, social media, YouTube. That is the best part. And I've said it before, I've told the gunman this, but I really hope one day the gunman makes the trip across the pond and comes to Sema, because that would be such a good time. I wouldn't miss that for the world, you know. As far as my career, I feel like the gunman is probably the most influential into getting me really doing what I'm doing. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, you better just search the gunman on YouTube and go follow him, because his content is fantastic. His YouTube page is next level. We're on. real quick. Alright, we're gonna let that flash. I'm gonna go mix up my base coat. And we'll get some base coat slanging in here. Everything is nice and clean. I'm happy with how my sealer laid down. But I've got a blend obviously there. I'm also going to blend here because that fender does butt to this, so that'll match. Let me go mix up some base and we'll get back in here. Alright guys, so Sema Crunch, we might as well use the this is the brand new Sema edition DV1. This is called the Screaming Eagle DV1 base coat. I've got it loaded with a 1.3. We're gonna go ahead and get this ground color knocked out. I'm gonna set this at 15 psi on the digital gauge here, like that, and we'll start on the car. How about that? I'm gonna tack over this one more time. All right, and I am painting the bumper in this section, so I'm gonna kind of blend up into this quarter. So what we'll do is we'll start where I'm gonna have my fender butted, which is right here, like so, and then we'll start on this quarter. And I over-reduced this slightly, so I think I'm at like 15%. I'm not, with solid whites, I don't really get too carried away. And as you can see, I am doing my wet on wet here. Gotta get this in and out. Do the same thing on this. Sure that looks good. I don't like how that piece of tape is popping up. Alright, so now we'll go ahead and get to our parts. And I am going to do wet on wet. We're going to smash my coats on this, and we are trying to get this done efficiently so I can get to everything else. But thankfully Pearl White's pretty easy in this line. That's one thing I will give Sherwin, is Pearl White is fairly easy to spray. Alright. And the white covers really, really nice. So coat and a half, typically we are good to go as far as coverage is concerned. Get in there. When I do my wet on wet, I'll back up. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but I back up a little bit, slow my arm speed down, just to ensure that I'm getting, you know, that half coat. And I'm still just laying it out nice. Okay, do this shell. In fact, I'm gonna tip this up. That'll just make it easier on me. One notch, there we go. So yeah, I like 3-stage whites with 9K. It really does make it easy. Because after this initial coat and a half, all I've got to do is get my pearl layer laid down. And that'll probably, most of them are a single coat, which is awesome because it just keeps it simple. So I can basically wet on wet my pearl layer. I'll just do my one wet covered coat and then basically immediately control coat it after that. I feel like this is, yeah, this is high. It's funny how I can feel that. Actually hurt it more than I felt it. So basically after I get my coat and a half of white ground on, I will hit the flash cycle, which will move more air and ramp the temperature up. and dehydrate this. So by the time I'm done mixing my pearl, this is pretty much ready to be recoated. Down. Pressure again. Good. So on the inside, I'm going to just do one really nice wet coat. Just to make sure we're covered, you know. Like that. Good. And I will be editing this video via the Denver airport, and that's why I'm really recording this. I need something to do when I'm sitting in the Denver airport, because I've got like a 3-hour layover before I get to Vegas. So I figured, you know, I can record this job, have something to do, 2 birds, 1 stone type thing, you know. Zip this up. There. Because again, I've had people message me about 3-stage whites in this line, and I think the biggest tip I can give you guys is drop coat your 3-stage whites when your base coat is wet. Because if you don't, then those pearls really just want to model. Turns into a whole thing. I've learned that the hard way over the years. It's just much easier. It doesn't affect your color match at all if you just drop it while it's still wet. I don't know if you guys can tell, but this stuff covers fantastic. Yeah, like 1 coat is probably enough, but whatever. We'll do this half coat and ensure. I'm hoping that I got enough of this ground, because I need to do a spray out card as well, letdown panel real quick. I should. It still feels pretty heavy. Plus, before I'm done and I walk out of here, I'm going to make sure my blend looks good, because if I got to finesse that, I want to have a little bit more base still in the gun. Oh yeah, side note guys, Mega Gators. This is Gator Magnetics. Like, check this out. One of those things. This is like your standard booth magnet, right, to hold your gun. Garbage. Not gonna fall off. That holds, like the Mega ones hold up to 45 pounds. How sick is that? I'm glad that didn't hit anything. But yeah, these have these gigantic magnets and they're so weak that it is pathetic. Like these Mega Gators, like the nice thing is you literally lift that up and that's it. So your magnet's right there. See how small that is? It says powered by poly magnets. I don't know the science, I don't know the whole spiel, but all I know is these damn things work fantastic. Let's go get a spray out card so we can make a letdown real quick. Got a big old pile of them in my toolbox. They're all here. And this is white, so instead of using the black line side, I'll just flip it over and use the all white side. If you're going to do any other color, make sure you use the correct ground color. So if it's a red, use a dark gray or medium gray, whatever the color calls for. But because this is white, I don't need to seal this. And for my letdown, all I'm going to do, I'm going to do this 1 coat, kind of flash it, do a second. So there's my coat and a half. And I'm going to blow some air over it and just dry it, because I am going to have to put a piece of tape and paper in the middle so I can see how many coats of pearl I need. And if you guys aren't in the habit of making spray out cards, you really should be. Because you label this, then you know for next time, right? Like, oh, okay, that's 2 coats of pearl mask or 1 coat or whatever. Spray out cards are vitally important in this industry. Especially if you care about color matching. Alright, so that's, dry, but I'm going to let it go through a flash cycle with everything else. I'm going to dry this quarter so I know for sure that that looks good. Just heaven forbid I go clean that gun and then this just look off. That would suck. Because here's my blend area, right? It looks just fine. So I'm gonna go clean that gun. Same with this, this all looks great. I'll go clean that gun, mix up my pearl, and then we'll get back in here. I'll make my letdown card. Obviously I'm gonna have to do a coat of pearl on everything, but this letdown panel will tell me if I need one or two, because basically what I'm gonna do is put a piece of paper over the half of it, spray one coat of pearl here, peel that tape, and then coat the whole card. So then I have one coat, two coat, and then I can compare it to the vehicle. And I know, a lot of guys, oh, I won't pull a car into the booth. Here's the thing, I checked the chip, and I know some guys will say, oh, the chips are never right. The chip was spot on. So I'm just rolling with the chip. Clearly, according to my blend, I was in the right. So what I'll do is I'll do my little coats, and then I'll cut a slit right here, compare it to this, see if it's one coat or two coat. I'll show you how to do that. And then, yeah, we'll roll with that. All right, so all of that is dehydrated. Literally the amount of time that it took me to mix that pearl, this is all ready to get recoated. So now what I do is I take my paper, this 6-inch paper, I'll tape it to myself so I get some of the sticky off, because I don't want to peel this base off the card. I just need to block half of it, like so, so I can do my little letdown card. And I just like to kind of pinch around the corner. Doesn't have to be perfectly half the card. You'll be able to tell. Yeah, same 14, 15 PSI. And all I'm gonna do is coat this top one. Okay, so there's one coat. We'll dry that. At least enough to pull the paper off here. Very, very, very carefully. See how it didn't pull paint? But you can clearly see the one coat. So now we'll dry it. Because if I was spraying this on the car, I would not be doing two coats wet on wet. That's just not how 90-20 likes to run if you do that. So now that that one's dry, I'm going to do a coat on the entire card, and I'm going to drop it. So I'll do a coat, drop my pressure down, drop coat the whole card, dry that, and then we'll check it. I hope you followed along there. And I don't know if you guys can see the difference. It's hard to tell, but we'll drop our pressure down to 10 like usual, drop coat it. Okay, now we're gonna dry it. And this just gives me a good representation of how many coats of pearl. I know solvent guys, man, when I first started spraying this stuff, solvent took a ton of coats. I would have some that are 7 coats of pearl, but with waterborne, man, especially 9K, it's 1 or 2. I don't know if I've ever had one of these jobs take more than 2 coats of pearl, maybe one time, but it's very, very, very rare. Okay, so now that that is fairly dry, what we're going to do, you could see the difference, I hope you can. This top one, honestly, with 2 coats looks lighter, and that's that pearl effect affecting the face of the color, right? So then the side tone, I don't know if you guys can see, side tone is darker. Face lighter, side tone darker. Face darker, side tone lighter. That's how these pearls interact with each other. I'm gonna go ahead, actually, I can just use this light. My little Harbor Freight light here. But what we will do is we'll break open a small section. So all I'm looking for is I need to know how many coats of pearl, right? Right off the bat, I think 2. 1 is too bright white. 2 looks perfect. So we're gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with 2 coats of pearl on this job. I might even have to mix some more pearl, but I want it to match what's there. So we're gonna go with that. Need to tape up what I just ripped open. And here's the thing, I'm not gonna do 2 coats on the door jamb. I'm only gonna do 1. Because obviously the door jamb you're not going to see. As long as you get some pearl on it, you're good. Okay. So let's go ahead, we'll do our coat of blender on that sail, and then we will start slanging some pearl in here. Thankfully pearl coats tend to dry really fast, so it's still gonna go fairly quick. Get a layer on here. And this, like I told you guys, this is really just a visual aid. And I know you see that chip, but that is what it is. I might dab a little paint in there before I clear it, if I remember. But we're gonna go ahead, just again, start over here. And because our white goes to right around in here, we're gonna take this pearl much further. Oh yeah, and I gotta up my pressure. Almost forgot. Okay. And now I did this whole quarter, so I got to make sure that I get a nice even layer on the whole quarter. Okay. Now we'll start on our parts, because that needs to flash off before I do that second coat. I have a feeling I'm going to need another few ounces of this pearl, but we'll see. See how it shakes out. It's really hard to see pearl, so you better be well practiced in your overlap and really knowing what your spray gun is going to do. That's part of the reason why I grabbed this DV1, is I know this gun very well. And that's where a lot of guys, I feel like, get in trouble, is when they spray white pearl, they're not consistent enough. And that'll really bite you in the butt, because then you end up with really blotchy pearls. And ooh, look at, there's a bug. Oh, he's stuck in our base, isn't he? Come on, get off of there. Oh, nice. You got bug gut. Just makes everything so much better, doesn't it? All right, well. Ha! Nothing can be easy today. I'm hoping that I can just slightly sand that. We're gonna find out here in a second. Without any repercussions. Grab a piece of lemon. Okay. A bug must have got stuck in our base coat. And then when I went to wipe him off, he did this. A little bit of stain. See right here? And I lightly just sand it. I really just want this to go away. Thank God. Yeah, it's coming off. Thank Lord baby Jesus. Alright, that is good. Let's do our pearl coat. Everything's trying to fight today, bro. I just want to get all this done so I don't have to leave Spencer with a bunch of work, you know. I know Pearl White he was dreading, so I figured I'd get this one knocked out for him. Nice and smooth. Smooth as fast. You can rush white pearl, but you've really got to be smooth about it. There we go. That's a good, nice layer. Do one wet coat on the inside of this. Actually, I'm not even really going to go too wet. Like I said, it is a door jam. As long as it's got pearl on it, where you can see, you're in good shape. Because these factory jams don't have a lot. they just lightly dust, so that's all I'm doing. There we go. Good enough. Got some on the edges. Okay. And I know some guys too, they like to cut in parts, so instead of doing this pearl white apart, they would rather spray it all together. And I mean, if that works better for you, by all means. You could jam this door, install it, spray it all together so you don't have any color difference. Like, I fully understand why you would want to do that. And that's how this shop operated before I got here, but I'm so used to just one touching everything that just doesn't work for me. I much prefer to just do it one time, you know? So it's really all about consistency, because I need those two doors to match, the fender to match, and I need it all to match the quarter. So as long as I'm consistent, it's all gonna look good. Okay, all that is dehydrated. So now we are ready to just be done with it. I'm thinking I'm probably gonna have to mix more, guys, but we're gonna see. Okay, drop it. A whole lot of. There we go. Back up. 114. There we go. Second coat. Yeah, I'm gonna need more of this pearl, but that's alright. Okay, drop it down. 10 psi. Again, 45 degree. Alright, that all looks really nice. I feel like I'm already low. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this fender. I will go mix a tiny bit more pearl, and then we'll do these doors. I have enough for the fender, I know that. Or I hope. Yeah, I should be just fine here. Okay. Down. Just gonna make sure that all of this lays out nicely. Pearls, for whatever reason, just tend to lay nicer in wet 90/20, so. Yeah, we'll leave it like that. Might do a little cross coating just to make sure. Okay, I'm gonna go mix a little pearl. We'll get these two doors knocked out, and then we can clear this job and move on to the other parts, eh? All right, I've got another few ounces of this mixed up. I just mixed enough. I got to do 2 bumpers anyway, so what we'll do is we'll get our second coats on these doors. And down. There we go. Second coat on these doors. Here's one thing I want to remind you guys. You can't see below this molding, right? So you don't need to get your 2 coats below that molding. I'm gonna just start here, right? I'm not going to the very bottom because it's just a waste of paint anyway. But that's one thing that I've had guys in the past on videos. Oh, why don't you go the whole way? Oh, and I didn't even pop that. Great. But why didn't you go the whole way? And that's why. If it's covered, why waste the paint? Because the factory doesn't waste the paint down there. if you look at a door jamb, they barely have pearl on it, barely have paint on it. As long as you're covered to where that thing is sealed up and it's not going to rust or anything, like having color there doesn't matter really. We'll drop coat it since this is all still wet. It'll probably, because I cross coated that fender, I'll do it to these doors. Just to ensure that it's as smooth as possible. Okay, do a second coat on this. And like I said, you guys are watching this, I'm sitting in an airport editing this video on my way to the Sema show. So I will probably post this once I arrive in Las Vegas. And if there's anything at the Sema show you guys want to see, now is the time to tell me. I will be there with my boy Tommy from the Spray Source and my boy Saucy Painter Alfred. He's a great dude. Also a content creator here on YouTube and on social media. And yeah, we're just gonna have a good time looking at all the new products and meeting everybody. I'm pretty excited. Got like a laundry list of stuff to do beforehand, but you know, less than 24 hours I'll be in the air. Alright, that's our pearl layer done. I'm going to hit a flash cycle, let this stuff get nice and dry. We'll come in here and clear it. Our blend looks awesome. That one's invisible. Really happy, and I mean, this video I'm really going through this stuff rather quickly. But like I said, I'm gonna go get a touch up and I'll just dab a little bit of the white base there. That looks fantastic. I hope you guys are still learning from this, like seeing the process of spraying pearl white, because it is not super difficult. The biggest thing, you guys, is stay consistent. If you spray this fender in a way like you've seen I cross coated it, do the same to the door, do the same to this door. This, I did take my sweet time and cross coat. And this quarter, I did take my time and really lay it down. So I'm not worried about color match between these 4 panels. Everything should look just beautiful. But yeah, it's all, consistency is just the name of the game. That's all it's about. All right guys, so we are ready to clear this job. I've got a DV1 clear coat. Figure I start with the DV1, I'll end with it. We'll spray this at 19 psi and just get in and out. I'm gonna just knock this out. I'll show you guys this first coat of clear, and then I ain't gonna waste your time showing you 2 coats, but we'll get through this first one, and then I'll smash the second one on, and I'll let y'all check it out. All the panels in here look phenomenal. Like I'm super happy with how all this came out, really clean. We'll see how clearing goes. And I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty harsh on this spray gun when I first tried it a few years ago. With the C1 air cap, not a fan. Far too slow for me, but you guys could see my arm speed. It's not, I'm not moving like particularly slow or anything like that. It's just one of those spray guns that takes a little bit of dialing in. I run mine full fan, full fluid, 19 psi, and I mean, yeah, it's slightly slower than my Segola, but the payoff as far as like the finish This will spray it a lot flatter than my Segola will, just on how it atomizes clear. And I think a lot of the problem, the guys, they get this gun in their hand and they're trying to spray it at, you know, 29, 30 PSI on this digital gauge, and they forget that the gauges read low. So if you get one of these, I'm telling you right now, try it at 19, see where that lands you. With thinner clears, like medium solids clears, I do not like this gun for those. I like it for these. This is CC250. It's not like a super duper thick clear, but it's not a thin MS clear either. It just tends to break up these thicker. It tends to break up thicker clears a lot nicer than it breaks up a thinner one. So I guess depending on what you're spraying, this gun, you'd either love it or you'll hate it. It's kind of how it goes. But for me, CC250 really likes it, so I've been enjoying it. I also had somebody tell me that this gun is really thirsty, meaning it likes to use a lot of paint, and while it does atomize a lot, he was also using it at way too high of a pressure, so that's why it's over atomizing and you're really having to slow down because you're breaking up the clear a little too much, you know. So I would say grab a C2 air cap, drop that pressure to 19, and report back. Let me know how it goes. Because once I did that, I really enjoy it. Alright, that is one coat. Everything looks really good. I'm gonna go mix up a little bit more. I'll smash that second coat on, and then we'll take a gander. Oh yeah, and side note, don't forget to clear your spray out cards. You want to save that later, you know what I mean? Beautiful. Alright, you guys, that is 2 coats smashed on there. Everything looks beautiful. Yes, I tipped these up. I just don't want to have any saggers. I mean, I spray this stuff nice and wet, so. I don't know if you guys could tell on camera, there ain't no blotchy, there ain't no nothing. It looks beautiful. The blends all look beautiful. That bug tried to throw us off, but we bounced back. No sweat. I'm gonna hit the bake cycle here in just a minute. And like I said, if you guys enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button. Share this with your friends. If you guys spray 9K and you learned something, let me know in the comment section. Like I said, I'm gonna be sitting in an airport editing this video, so this gives me something to do. And the next video you guys should see should be live from the Sema show. If you don't follow me on social media, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, obviously here on YouTube. I am on Facebook as well, but I'll be posting some content from the Sema show. I'll be there hanging out with my boy Tommy, my boy Sauce, Chris from Luma 3, and yeah, I'll see y'all there. And as always, links to tools, products, and stuff you see on this channel can be found down in the description below. And yeah, I'll see y'all at the Sema show in Vegas.